Welcome to the Fantasy Cycling Podcast, featuring your hosts, Grant Gardner and John Anderson. Chapeau, you're in the mix.
Welcome to the Fantasy Cycling Podcast. I'm John, here with Grant. What up, dude?
How you doing?
Great.
Beautiful spring day.
Good. Yeah.
Lots of pollen.
Yeah. It's like we always gravitate towards what we're going to grumble about, the weather.
Yeah.
Now we're dealing with the pollen.
It's funny. We look.
This is not a weather podcast.
This is not a weather podcast, but cycling is very integrally tied to the weather, right?
Yeah. And the geology.
Yeah. So, I mean, the problem is where we live, it's like once it turns warm, then you deal with the pollen. And once the pollen finally dies off, it's humidity. So It's always something.
It's not the heat. It's the humidity.
They had rough weather at Milano-Sanremo this past weekend to start. And we saw a dramatic wardrobe change from today Pogacar.
I never saw the answer to this.
Yeah.
Did he stop and change bibs?
I guess. I mean, it's such a lazy race to start that probably just jumped into the team bus or something on the side of the road and then changed and then kept going. I'm surprised that's even allowed.
I've never seen anything that's never been done before. Not an outfit change.
Not on purpose.
Yeah.
And not unless you're Tom Dumoulin.
Yeah. We've seen outfit changes. You got to change your shorts for a number of reasons, but not for fashion, not in the middle of a race.
I mean, that's pretty Italian, right?
I love it.
To change your kit for fashion.
I feel like more should have been made of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they should have gifted him the win just for doing that. So let's talk about
the actual race.
The actual race and not just adding to the lore, though, the fashion change in the middle. So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Pog started out in some colder weather gear. He's on the black on black, which is a dope kit.
Yeah.
And then we saw him at some point in the all white speed suit, right?
Yep.
So he must have gotten in a car or something and changed to be cooler for the latter stages of the race.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And then we were treated to what a finale. I mean, one of the best edition I've watched.
Yeah, I think going back, the best finish that I've seen since I started watching cycling in 2015ish was the Kwiatkowski, Alaphilippe, Sagan sprint where they're basically headbutting as they cross the line.
That was a good one.
So I think that's one of the best ones I've seen. But in terms of race dynamics from Cipressa to finish, this one was the best.
Yeah, so good. So Pog hatched their plan, lead out onto the Cipressa. Then you saw, was it 4 at first? Because we had Pog, Ghana, and MVDP.
Yeah.
And then I think there was Pidcock was it Pidcock that was there for a moment and then got gapped? No. Pidcock really didn't feature, did he? He kind of got lost in the churn.
It was Romain Grégoire.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So he was there for a bit and then was quickly dispatched. And then it ended up for a minute. It looked like it was just going to be Pogacar and Van der Poel.
Mm-hmm.
Ghana fought his darndest to get back on. I think one of the best moments was when they're getting towards.
Ghana gets gapped on the Poggio, and then claws his way back.
Yeah, I think one of the best moments was when Van der Poel looked like he got gapped, gets back onto Pogacar's wheel, and then goes over the top.
Yeah,
and it was like, call an ambulance, but not for me,
Well, it was a perfect move. I think that gap was intentional. The psychology of that, not knowing I'm about to distance this guy. Do I have him dropped, or is he about to kind of wind up and go over me? When you've got a couple bike links like that, you can kind of get up to speed before you swing by. It also sent a message to Pog like, hey, I'm here. Don't forget I can sprint. I mean, the race was done in a sense when they came over together over the top.
Yeah.
It's such a perfect race for Van der Poel, and he played it perfectly. And he can be, I mean, for Pog, he knows based off of his physiology and his style and his strengths that the race doesn't suit him. So they've got to come in, and the onus is on him to hatch a plan and a strategy and create circumstances whereby he can win. And when you've got someone like Van der Poel who's so good and that race is so perfect for him, I mean, you can really just let it come to you. And he did that to perfection. I mean, even in a couple of moments, allowing Ghana to close gaps and stay on Ghana's wheel and not being too thirsty. Was that his second? Was that Van der Poel's second now?
Yeah.
I can't think. Yeah.
It was.
It's going to be hard for Pog to win that one.
A good point that was made by many people was that, I mean, most of Pogačar's lieutenants were gone by the Cipressa. And if he had somebody that legitimately led him out and gave him a launching pad on the Cipressa and was really there for him, I think it'd be a lot different. But I think that's a positioning issue.
Well, and it's also all the coverage, all the press is about will Pog, what will UA do? What's going to be their tactics to get Pog the win? It almost like he has to be okay with, don't take the fight. I mean, I wonder if he could do better if he kind of played a more passive role in the dynamics. Of course, he's got the problem of saying, I can't win a sprint if it's going to come down to a larger bunch. I got to thin it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I cut you short in your point. Do you think he'll ever win it? I don't. You do?
You don't? I think you will.
You do? Okay.
He's still got plenty of years ahead of him, I hope.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, what do we got here? So, Mads Pedersen, who we both picked to win, he came in at 7th.
Yeah, I think he got caught on a back foot on the Cipressa, where he was hoping that things would have stayed status quo until the Poggio, and that didn't happen.
Couple shout out. We talked about Michael Matthews. That was in our last episode. We were kind of diving into the stats, and we were like, "Ooh, raising the eyebrow." That turned out to be a good call, coming in at 4th.
Yep.
Magnus Cort, Caden Groves, Magnus Cort, Mads Pedersen, Olaf Koy, Matteo Trentin, and then finishing out the top 10 at only 400 points. Right said Fred.
There you go.
Just had to do a little education to Grant on the
history.
We could also call him I'm Too Sexy.
I was familiar with their work, but I did not know the name of the band, so I finally get that joke.
Mike Tennyson, Corbin Strong, Isaac Del Toro, Benny Germay coming in 14th, Alan Brew, and then Ben Tullett, who I had on my team. He's the highest placed 200 credit rider.
Yeah,
that's 20.
That's the thing about a monument is you're not going to see a Turner credit rider in most cases in the top 10. So that was pretty wild. That 16th was the highest.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other 200ers were Honorary, Zambini, Baranazia.
Yeah, we're not going to.
Movistar, we out here.
Yeah.
And my dude, Maxime Bangil.
Yeah, so
only 1.5% of users took Ironborough, and he did well.
So I'm going to say I did get that one right. I had Zambonini.
You did. You're right.
So that was a good call. I undervalued Tullett, but he only had 2 more points than Zambonini. And then I think somebody that we completely wrote off was Caden Groves, but he benefited from Jasper Philipsen. Yeah, I think he either crashed or had a mechanical.
Yeah.
And he was out of the game by the time they got to the Capo Trey Cappy. So
yeah. And we were right on Mohoric. Something's off with Mohoric right now. He's not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. And Ghana, I mean, we doubted his consistency, but he showed that he's serious about this race.
He's serious about it. He likes it.
Yeah. So that was good. And something I think we should keep in mind. So in pre-race interviews, Matthew Van Der Poel said that he was worried, obviously, about Tadej Pogačar, but he said Filippo Ganna will be there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little tidbit for folks, is listen to what the other riders are saying. Who are they scared of?
Yeah.
And that'll be a good idea for your fantasy team.
Yep. That's a good tip. So the fun doesn't end, Grant. We got some races ahead of us in the immediate future. Hopefully you're listening to this as we publish, because tomorrow is it E3? Yep. Saxo Classic.
Yep.
Tell us about that race, man.
So this one is like a lot of the races we're going to be seeing over the next week. They're going to be warm-up races for the Tour of Flanders. This one is probably going to be the closest in terms of being the most like the Ronde. So this will be a good signal. A lot of the guys that will be fighting for the race at Tour of Flanders will be at this one, and then they might take a break Sunday at Gent-Wevelgem and then come back midweek. So interesting point here. Today, Pogačar is no longer riding E3. He was originally on the start list, but he's trimming his schedule because he's going to be riding Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah.
So that was a big announcement also this week. So Roubaix coming up for Pogačar. So that's going to take away potentially from his Flanders, title defense or recent title defense. So we'll see what that looks like. But for now, worried about E3. It's going to be Friday. Let's pull up some of the climbs that they're going to be facing. Those unique cobbled climbs throughout Flanders. So this race used to be called E3 Harelbeke. It starts and finishes in Harelbeke. We're going to see the Kreuzberg, the Teinberg, which is also...
Yeah, these are hills.
Yeah.
This is a flat race.
I mean...
It's a lumpy.
They're tough.
Flat.
Yeah, it's not like a climber's classic, but they're the difficulty of the hills is added by the fact that they've got slippery cobbles on them. So you got to stay seated for most of the climb. And then we got the Paterberg, the Ude the Cardinal Megabeck Strat.
Ooh. Whoa. Easy.
And the Tegenberg to finish it out. And then sprint into Harelbeke. So it's going to be a fun one. John, who jumps off the page for you?
Ooh, I mean, the usual suspects again. Van Der Poel. The last three winners have been either Van Aert or Van Der Poel.
Yep.
So, was it you that was telling me, or did you tweet this? Exit? What do you say? Did you X this?
I still call it tweeting.
Okay. So,
yeah.
But, basically, if it's one of the Galacticos is one, all wins. If they're there, they win these classic type races. So, I like Van Der Poel again for this. I like Pedersen as well. I feel like Pedersen might have a bit of a sour taste in his mouth.
Yep.
Ghana's going to be back. Maybe my dark horse for this is, and we already referenced him today. I don't think he's going to be a one-hit wonder.
Ooh, Right Said Fred.
Like his nickname's sake, but Right Said Fred, I think, could do well. Not a lot of people agree with me. Only 6% of users are taking him, but I don't know. Raise an eyebrow at that. Could be me simping the UK.
I think
raise an eyebrow at that top 20 though.
I would say surf that wave while it's out there.
That's a good shout.
So I like that.
I'll tell you who else I got on my team. So I've got Ghana, Van der Poel, Pedersen, Vasek, Tarlin, Lazcano, and Piffy. But I have a Max Walscheid.
Yeah.
I need a 200 credit pick, Grant. He's only done this race twice before. Who should I take? Everybody else is 400 points or 400 credits or greater.
So I like...
Switch me out somebody.
I mean, if you're looking for a veteran, I like Johnny Vermeersch. You could also go for a Dries van Gestel if you're looking for a veteran. If you're looking for a young gun, I'm still high on Louis Askey, even though didn't hit the jackpot at Milano-Sanremo or any of the other recent races we picked him for, but still a good shout there. And then I'll bring up a couple more for my team, but I would be looking at some of the teams like Lotto or Israel Premier Tech that are going to be putting guys up there. Uno X, Rasmus Tiller was only 200 credits.
You love you some Uno X.
Yeah, I'll be bringing up Uno X again when we get to my team, but Niels Pollitt, Brent Van Moor.
Is Pollitt still only 2?
Morgado.
Morgado's out there too?
Yeah, come on.
See, this is me just like getting lazy. Look at this. I don't know. Morgado hasn't really come through for me.
He's
Joseph Blackmore's out there too on IPT.
Really?
200 credits.
Surprised he's doing this race.
Could he do good on this? That might be a fun little.
That might be take a flyer.
He's never done it before.
He looked good at Tour de Alpes-Maritimes, but it was like he was 30th at Strade Bianche. It's not terrible.
Who you got?
Stick with the Brits, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Might as well.
All right. Of course, I got Mathieu van der Poel. Got Wout van Aert. He has been taking it easy this spring.
Oh, is that what he's doing? That's what he's doing.
Didn't ride Strade Bianche.
Need you step it up, Wout.
Didn't ride Milano-Sanremo, but that tells me that he's going to come guns a-blazing this weekend. So I got him. And then Matteo Jorgensen.
Yeah, I like that.
They can balance each other.
Yeah.
Jorgensen, I think he was even kind of like trolling the other day. He was like, what was it? Paris-Nice. He's like, this is an American race now or something like that. So let's go.
He owns it.
He's got a lot of confidence right now. And of course he won Ronde van Vlaanderen last year when Wout crashed out, which is going to be next Wednesday.
It's coming out party, wasn't it?
Tim Wellens, just a vet, 400 credits. He was 4th last year. Jasper Stuyven, 400 credits. He was 2nd last year. Uno X, Jonas Abrahamson. He is 600 credits, a little expensive, but he was 12th last year. He's due for a big result. So I'm hoping he shows up this weekend. I'm going to go with Louis Askey again, just because, like last season, I picked one guy and I'm like, I'm just going to wait.
We get like that.
Wait until this jackpot hits.
We get like that,
because you're going to be frustrated when they do and you gave up on them. And then another young rider that I really like is Alec Segert for Lotto. He's a Belgian rider, 22 years old. He was 11th at the Catalunya Classic, 8th at Grand Prix de Denain, and 19th at Les Salmon. So he's thereabouts if he gets in the right break. Get a nice little top 10 here.
So after that, we got on the 30th Gent-Wevelgem.
Yep. So Sunday, Gent-Wevelgem, Flanders Fields. They've got a nice little historic tribute in this one for the World War I battlefields around the area of Ypres. This one's a little flatter. Of course, you said the other one's flat, but this one is even more flat. It's going to have your cobbled sections, but none of the serious climbs that we see in the Tour of Flanders.
It's typically like a sprinter gets this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think a notable recent winner was Biniam Girmay. That was really his breakout win when he won this race a few years ago. Christophe Laporte, Mats Pedersen, Wout van Aert. I mean, Pedersen's won it twice since 2020.
Last year.
That would lean towards somebody like Jasper Philipsen, who I've got at the top of my list. I've also got Mats Pedersen. I'm liking him in this more so than on Friday. Jordi Meus, Milan Fretten, who's had a great season, Belgian rider, rides for Cofidis. Vincenzo Albanese for EF. He's actually not done this race before, but he was 8th at Omloop. So that tells me he can handle the cobbles. Dries de Bont, he's another experienced cobbled rider. He was 3rd at Grand Prix de Denain, so he's in good form. Does well on flat cobbles. I'm just going to pick Lewis Askey again. And then Tim Van Dyke. That's one of those things where I don't really know the difference between the two Van Dyke brothers, but I'm just going to pick one of them. And he was 15th at Omloop. So that tells me that he's in pretty good form. And then Alex Sagert again.
Nice.
Who you got?
I put very little thought into this, so I'm going to.
Yeah, these are tough because you're like, I kind of need to wait and see who does well on Friday.
Yeah.
And then you're
I'm going
like,
to change it.
You don't want to pick exactly the same team, but then you're like, you don't want to be too different because there is a decent amount of overlap across the two races.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wait and see what happens at E3 and then finalize this. I just threw on, I think I'm going to change this. I'm going to take Milan and Pedersen.
You are going to take both of them.
Take both of them.
That's fun.
Yeah. Just do something a little outside the box. I got Fred Wright again on here, Lawrence Piffy again on here, Moliere, spreading this the last 5 years, and in the last 3, he's always scored points.
Nice.
Got 8th last year. And I got Emilian Genier.
I like him.
I like him too, but he has only done this race once before, and he got 70th, so might change that. And then just a couple of scrubs. Max Walscheid. Dude, 18% of people are taking him. He's done this race 5 times and never scored a fantasy point, but maybe this is his year.
He's a diesel. He's a big guy.
And then I was just trying to find like a little obscure 200 credit rider, and I put Timo Kielik on there.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got some really good results.
He's had a good season so far, and he has ridden this race before, so he's not coming in cold. And a home country race for him. Yeah. So I'll probably tinker with it, but I don't know. I think I'm still going to keep the double trek. I like double fisting.
I like the 2-pronged approach there with Trek, and I like the Timo Kielik pick for your hipster 200 credit rider. Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah, sometimes that's probably a little bit of a disclaimer, guys. Sometimes it's not even necessarily how good they do on fantasy, but how hip of a pick can they be? A little.
Yeah, you're trying to
for us talking here.
You're trying really hard to not pick what everyone else is picking, right?
Yeah.
That because then you go and you look at the people that are actually winning these races, and you're like, "Oh, that was a bold strategy." Sometimes you gotta get outside your comfort zone, and or you're actually really smart and you like judge
that's definitely not the case over here on this.
You're like looking at training profiles and like exactly how some guy does. Like, I hate when Landon Rouger's like, he doesn't do well on 5K 4% climbs. And I'm like, what? How do you know that? I'm like, I don't know if you're just like
he's got the keys to the training peaks, man.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just like screwing with us or like
got the files. You've got the files. You got all the data you need. Is it deep sync? Deep think? Just drop that into deep sync.
Deep seek.
Deep seek.
Deep sync.
Drop it into deep sync and let the algos work, man.
Yeah.
You been watching Catalunya?
So I don't know what platform. It's not on Max, and I'm not going to pay for anything else. So, but I guess I could pull up Tiz.
You got to, man. You got to sign up for all these things. You can write it off.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be definitely tax loss harvesting because
going to be no one in the IRS left by the time you file your taxes next year, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching the highlights.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about those Land Rouge videos is it's just like the last 3 minutes and
appreciate it.
Yeah,
well, you can get the longer. I actually it might be on Peacock.
Really,
I felt like I was watching some highlights and there was a Peacock, like a 20-minute.
It might be. But anyway,
you gotta listen to it on mute if you're watching.
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a good one. I at one point, I think after like stage 2 or 3, I was like, oh, may have a team here, but
I like how John refuses to mute his phone during these podcasts.
Sorry, I might be getting intel coming in, like Vanderpool's, that might be my sources on the ground texting me.
Okay.
Just saw Vanderpool out at the bar.
Got in a fight with some kids trying to touch his Lamborghini.
I got excited because I thought I had a good team. I was in like the top 500 at one point.
Ooh.
But it's a good reminder of the old 2 when you know that there's at least 2. I think I let my bias alter my judgment.
Your bias against Primož Roglič?
Yeah. Should have had him on the team.
But you picked Matthew Brennan, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
So that has been a big boon for points there.
Yeah,
only 200 credits.
Yep, I have. Yeah, he's a second. He's got the second most fantasy points right now, more than Roglič. I have 4 of the top 9: Lenny Martinez, Caden Groves, Matthew Brennan, and Ayuso. But yeah, I could have easily fit Roglič onto the team.
So I will say, he has 1,200 credits, so it would have taken away from some of those other, like you wouldn't have been able to take Caden Groves.
That's true. Yeah, because he's 1,000. Oh, but Caden Groves is DNF'd.
Yeah, I DNF'd today, so no more points for you, but
no more points for you.
But he's still at 79, which could still finish pretty high. I don't know if he's going to be on the best team though. I've got the 2 Lennys. I've got Lenny Martinez and Lennart Van 't Veld.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been good. My bonehead mistake was to leave off Matthew Brennan. So I picked.
We talked about him too.
Yeah, I picked Dorian Godone because I thought, he's kind of a climby sprinter guy. Brennan, I didn't know that he was as alien as he's turning out to be.
Yeah, so, I mean, Alien Watch on Matthew Brennan, guys. Star him on the game.
Yeah. So I picked Godone over him. And Godone does have 43 points, but he does not have 143 points. So that was my bad. But I'm going to try to make my team sound better than it is. So we do I think in the youth.
This should be good.
Yeah. Well, first of all, on today's stage, I had 6 of the top 10, and I've got 5 of the top 7. Well, actually 6 of the top 10 on GC. All right. And then on the youth classification, I think got a bunch too. But that's coming from Richard Tetlow, young American that we got our eyes on. Lawrence DePlouze is riding well again. He's top 10 on GC right now.
I really want to see him take that next step. Maybe he will underneath this new Ineos 2.0.
And then Landismo. He hasn't been contesting the last 2 sprints, but he's been up there. So there's going to be one more opportunity for those guys. Stage 6 will be another uphill finish, and we've got a ore category climb in the middle there. So we'll see if Ayuso can really get away from Roglic on that one, or if,
because they've traded. Roglic won today.
Yeah,
and Ayuso won yesterday. Hey, the best person in pole position, Caronyeros. He has Ayuso, Roglic, King Rose, Van Etvelt, Dorian Gadon, and this youngster, this 21-year-old on Alpecin, Tibor Del Grosso.
Yeah, he was the one that got pipped at the line by Brennan.
Starred him. He's got Brennan, and then he also has Martin Lopez on Astana. Also a young rider and pretty cheap, 200 credits as well if you want to keep him on your radar. And then Matej Govikar, 200 credits for Bahrain. I don't know how he chose him. But he got third on... Oh, no, he got 3 points on stage 2. He didn't get third. Oh, he did. Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Anyway, whatever. You get the idea. Hey, shout out to you, Caronyeros.
Speaking of rankings, we'll tie a bow on Catalunya later after we see the end of it, end of this week. But before we close, we need to mention the rankings in our media league. So after Milano-Sanremo, the new leader is Top Ciclista. He was 277th at Milano-Sanremo, and that got him enough points to take the lead. In our league, Paul Boyard is second, and SPM Fan Cycling is still in the top 3, and rounds out the podium. So pretty tight there at the top. 307 points, 306 points, 303 points. And then there's a few guys with 299 behind that should have a chance to contest for the podium after Flanders.
Sick. Hey, listeners, hit us up. The platforms, X, as we already mentioned, Instagram, YouTube. The handle is Listen to FCP. Grant and I are dabbling in some... I think for the remainder of the year, I'm going to do some more. I'm going to do a lot more Velo games.
Yep.
Even though I prefer the app.
Yeah, that Cycling Fantasy app is just pretty straightforward, easy to use, bigger teams.
Easy-ish. Still had a little bit of an uptick for me, but I'm not as quick to the tech.
The when they changed the filter setting, that really threw you off.
Filters. I miss the old filters.
Yeah.
Change is hard.
Yep.
So Velo games. I mean, I think a lot of our comments can apply to the Velo games as well.
Yeah, it's a different pricing model.
Yeah,
but it's the same riders. So
yeah. But hey, hit us up on those platforms and let us know. We're also looking into, is it Fanta cycling?
Like the drink, yeah, Fanta
like
cycling.
The drink. I think we're going to start playing around with that, see how that works. I think it's interesting to see. I'm really hoping that we see some cohesion, consolidation amongst these games. Love the engagement you can get and the increase of kind of attention and learning the sport can come at such an accelerated rate when you use one of these games.
Yep.
And I think that can be a big barrier for a lot of people wanting to kind of, they've gotten into it, watching a race or two, maybe they watch the tour, want to be more engaged with what else is happening and not just who's winning.
Yep.
And I mean that was true for me, playing these games and just increase my enjoyment of the sport. So, would you all let us know if you've had a good experience with our game? We'll probably start getting a little bit of real estate to it if we like it on here. But if there are other games that y'all have tried out, I know we've dabbled a little bit on the Escape Collective's platform with their picking game that they have, which can be a lot of fun, and it's a different way to approach it. Yeah, hit us up. Any thoughts on that, Grant?
Yeah, I think obviously you're pretty into cycling if you've made it this far in this episode. But watching the Tour de France and other races, the Giro is going to be so much more fun when you've been following the season and the detail and the
narrative unfold.
Yeah, these riders that we were just talking about, people they're like finished in the top 20 on a stage. It's like, oh, that guy was 17th. And then later, talk about like somebody like Georg Steinhauser who won a Giro stage last year. If you'd been picking teams throughout the whole season, you would have known who he was before that happened.
Yeah.
So you'll be the cool guy in your club if you
or maybe not.
if you're familiar with the peloton and the depth of some of these rosters. So it's a lot of fun to follow the season throughout. And
if you can't drop your mates on the group ride, you can drop them on fantasy.
Yep.
Let's see how that's a little. It's another way to find some bragging rights if you're still building up your FTP.
Aren't we all?
Which we all need help with.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be checking out plenty of the other games and try to slot them in. It does kind of provide a little bit of conflict if you're like, oh, I picked them on there, but I didn't pick it on there. It's kind of like picking too many brackets in March Madness. But
how is your bracket doing?
Pretty good,
sir.
All of my teams remaining could still win a game except for the St. John's section of that region.
Okay.
So there's a lot of points left to play for.
I've paid zero attention to it. I don't even know.
But I got the Florida Gators winning it all.
Oof.
So sorry.
Well, what a horrible note to end on. Can we edit that out?
Can we get a go? John, can we get a go Knowles, to finish it out?
No, it's all right. Well, enjoyed it, Grant. Let's regroup next week. We can wrap up Catalunya and we'll have E3 and Gent to talk about, and then it's going to be Paris-Roubaix, baby.
Flanders.
First,
then Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
I got a hot prediction. Pog will win neither.
Ooh. That is a big pick. That'll be a nice teaser for next episode. You can tell us why.
Okay. I'll have to come up with a
All right. See you then.
See you. Bye.